All right, and that was a great conversation, man. I'm really mad that we did not go live with that conversation.
Oh, we weren't live for that?
I didn't remember. I didn't.
Ah!
We were talking about it. I'm so mad at myself for that. I'm mad. That was a great topic. Good evening, Rico.
What's
Hello.
going on? What's going on? I thought y'all was live until I just looked and saw the sign pop up.
No, I'm mad at myself for that. Oh my gosh. And Anna, I gotta do this thing over, honey. But that was a great conversation. But that was nobody but the Lord, honey. But anyway, welcome to the show, y'all. I done messed up. I got everything recording, but I didn't go live. So one more time. So now I'm gonna start this thing out. Like I said, Toya Wit, thank y'all for joining me. Welcome to the tea room. I started it off with one of these songs that these old youngins got here. All right. And it's called What's Poppin'. Now we can only get 30 seconds. Only get 30 seconds. So that's what they allow us to have. So that's why I've been banned from a lot of places. Facebook just banned me because they hate me, but when it comes to the music, that's why I've been banned. But 30 seconds of this clip, y'all need to go and check this out real quick. Go check it out. I like this young man. Yo, what's your name? Wait, what's the young man name? I want to interview. Oh, it's three of y'all. Well, look, if y'all see this, I'm gonna need y'all to come ahead and come on and do an interview with the girl, 26. I'm gonna get up all of these business. But they're right here, young. I like this right here, right here. That's what my bank account balance say. I gotta check some shoe company, not do anything in New Balance say. I bought her a plane to get out of 30 seconds, y'all. 30 seconds. That's all you get. That's all you get. That's what's popping, man. That's a whole bunch of them guys right there. That's the baby. Tory Lanez. I'm sorry, Tory Lanez and Lil Wayne, y'all. That's who that is. Make sure y'all go check it out. I know I'm probably late. Y'all youngins already know about it. But thank y'all for joining me. Toya with the T on the line. What's going on? Y'all got me here with my co-host. I got two of them today, man. Two people that are very close and dear to my heart, man. Two of the teammates. Of course, we got lunchtime with Anna Keone. It's Anna, lunchtime with Anna. And then we got Mr. Jackson from the Whistle, right?
Yep. The Wilson.
I had it right. Yep. All right, y'all. We online because we got a lot to talk about. I hear a little bit of feedback in the background, so let me see if I can turn my volume down. For those of us that have our volume up, we just got to turn it down. We don't have to turn it off, but if we turn it down a little bit, we probably won't hear that feedback. But we'll still be able to hear each other. All right. All right, you guys. So, yep, we are here live today because we got a couple of things we need to talk about. For those of y'all that know, Toya with the tea. I'm always spilling tea, spilling truth. I'm always talking about something. Y'all know I'm always talking about what's on my mind. And I got a link today. For those of y'all that don't know, I'm Facebook. I'm in Facebook prison. All right, extradited to prison. And I'll be there for another 15 days if I'm mistaken. So please put something on my commissary. If I can get some cigarettes and some cupcakes, I would greatly appreciate it. Some ramen noodle and some Cheetos with milk and orange. So I'll make me some hooch. But I'll be out in about 15 days. So in the meantime, y'all gotta check me out on all other social media and check me out on YouTube. But in the meantime, couple of topics we're going to talk about today. Now, for those of y'all that watch the news, and I was just telling Anna, honey, I see stuff that come across my screen all the time. Mm-hmm. And we didn't never really go back and touch any of these previous issues that's been going on with the rise. Like, let me tell you something, the distractions they got going on right now, yo, they are doing a phenomenal job because we cannot keep up with everything that's going on right now, man. It's ridiculous. And we really have not touched these cases of hangings that's been going on here lately. And I got a link earlier today, of course, from Rico. And I'm like, yeah, I wanted to talk about it. Y'all know I haven't been live in a couple of days, but I've been wanting to because it's been a lot going on. But when I got that link and Anna was like, Toya, what you doing? I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. Welcome to the team. So now, the first topic of discussion, we're going to talk about this. Brother Rico brought this up here. Black men found hanging from a tree in Florida. And let's see if we can get this on the wide screen. Now, let's see if we can share the screen. Um,
So you're doing a little trial and error today too, huh? This is a new one.
absolutely. Well, see, we've done it before. I just don't know if you can do it with 3 people.
Yeah, you could do it with 8.
Well, and share something. I didn't know that. So this is my trial and error. And yep, here we go. This is the article that I have on the young man. That they found. His name is Nevan Baker, 22 years old of Florida. Yeah, I know I'm always scrounging over Facebook and things of that nature. And I'm always seeing different kind of articles. This particular article, let's see if we can bring it to the forefront for everybody to see. Actually looks like this is something different.
Yeah, I think that's a different dude there.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks a lot older.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Is that the guy that was? That looked like the guy that was beaten up in Louisiana, and the police said he when the police said they messed him up, they beat the living hell out of him.
Right.
Well, they said the living hell out of him.
Right. Well, the article says black man found from tree in Orlando Park rule suicide. Family said we're not going to let this go, which is this one right here. I guess that's the wrong video, but let's go ahead and scroll up to the actual article. All right. So for those of y'all that are tuning in right now, as we see, it's telling us that friends and family members of a black man, we didn't use his name, it said black man. Please pay attention to the narrative. Friends and family members of a black man was found hanging from a tree this past weekend. They say they believe his death was not a suicide and that the Orlando Police Department and medical examiner should have initially determined. Nevan Baker, his body was found Sunday at 3:45 a.m. in the Barker Park area near Camping World Stadium and the Washington Shore neighborhood, hanging by a rope from a tree, according to OPD's case report. Alarming circumstances that his family and many of the Orlando community say deserved increased scrutiny. That's what this article reads about this young man. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So Anna, have you heard about this story? What are your thoughts and what do you have to say? And I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna let you guys keep the thing off. I'm gonna do some research on some other hangings and let's talk about it.
Okay, so a few things. I am very familiar with Orlando, Florida. As you guys know, I was a resident of Orlando for quite some time. Orlando, Florida, Orange County. As I'm looking at the map, and you're saying this happened in Washington Heights Apartments. That's where, what was next to the park, correct?
Yes.
So as I'm looking at this is Paramore. This is an area in Orlando. When I'm looking at the surrounding areas, that's really, this will be where what you call Orange Blossom Trail, OBT. You see a lot of everything down that street, especially late night. And anybody who knows Orange County knows certain areas of OBT, you just don't go around at night. Or if you do so, keep your windows up, right? With that being said, it strikes me really weird unless there's some type of serial something because of the area that this is at, that it would be anything but suicide. And that's what I read, that the medical examiner called it suicide. But in a conversation with Rico earlier, you know, he also did inform me that I guess he had missing front teeth. I don't know if this was prior to this incident or if this happened, because remember that also when we medically, when we deal with a strangulation, you're, you know, kind of, it's not a good sight to see, if you guys know what I mean. Liquids are going to come out every direction. Okay. So because you're causing that suffocation. Now, I don't have much information. However, when you read where it was at, I logically am visualizing all of it. And it's just not an area, it's an area where you predominantly see minorities, Hispanics and Blacks, predominantly Puerto Rican, because Orange County is Little Puerto Rico, right? So I don't understand how something like this, if they're saying it might be something due to race, that something like this happened. Now, is it possible? Yes, I'm not discarding that. However, it's really sad that somebody has committed suicide if that was a case like that, in that manner. You know, and I pray, you know, uh, God, they found an encounter with God, you know, in between then, and that's a very difficult situation. So that I don't get in, because I don't know what God knows, you know. However, and I don't know, Rico, maybe, I mean, you're from Orlando, correct, Rico?
No, I'm not from Orlando, but I've been down there before. My son, pretty much goes down there in the summertime. His grandmother lives down there, grandmother and aunt,
Okay,
couple of relatives that he
so
has.
if you're
But
familiar with Orlando, this is in the Paramore area, OBT, East Colonial, all of that is going to intersect, and it just does not make sense to me, the area. However, you don't know, because people do some mean stuff. It's a cruel world out there. You know what I'm saying? But from what Toya was reading, that's what I interpreted from it. And of course, this is a relatively new story, because I didn't hear about it myself until Rico sent that post, and I looked at a few articles, and you know, all of them said that it was suicide. However, with the way times are, nothing surprises me. You know what I mean? So, Rico, you can give your take on it. Because I think Toya's doing something.
I believe you have to be careful of reading too much into it, because I mean, like you said, sometimes you have just ruthless people, cartel people, drug dealers,
Absolutely,
gang members, just people that just hateful and angry, that will do a lot of hurtful and mean things to a person when they're retaliating or doling out some type of punishment or whatever. So I mean, now actually, I still would be suspicious of them calling it a suicide, because I just, you know, I think they said his teeth were kicked out. He had bruises on his head, and then I think they said his hands were bound behind his back. So you know, that suicide, that would be totally something that I would, you know, doubt happened. But if the coroner said it, then, you know, like I said, then we have to second guess, or have to be more, I'm gonna say, prevalent to be discerned about the information we take in right now, because it is so early.
absolutely.
You know, I wouldn't want to pass any kind of judgment or make any kind of assumptions about it. You know, if anything, I just want to keep my ears and eyes open. That's what I do most times when I first hear of news like that anyway. But my initial suspicions is that it couldn't be suicide, but you know, I need to find out more.
And you know what? And you're right. And basically, what I was doing in the background, y'all, is that I went and took the liberty of looking up some hangings, because since Corona, since the protests, definitely, and since Black Lives Matter has been getting involved with a lot of these things, we've noticed that there's been some more hangings. Hanging actually used to be a practice, used to be a way of life up until 1972. And that's when the United States Supreme Court found that capital punishment was in violation of the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution. So just the history of hanging, we need to focus on that, understand what it is, what it means, how it's abuse. Okay, and this is why just due to the history of the United States, it don't make no difference. Y'all don't get to have stuff like that happen, and we think optimistically about it anymore. So we have to talk about capital punishment, from a government aspect, and then we can talk about it from a humanity and a societal aspect once we correct it within that. But with that being said, 2 Black men were found dead in California. This article was June 2020. 5 people of color have died in hangings across the country. This was an article posted in the AJC, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, in June 2020. Another article by the Washington Post, Perspectives. Police say deaths of Black people by hangings are suicides. Many Black people aren't so sure. Which one of the things that bothers me is that they continue to make it seem like there's a huge difference between Black and white people other than melanin. We're humans. Stop making it seem like just because we have different cultures, like different things affect us differently. Now, because of history, you're right. We're not finna be go hanging ourselves. That's just not what we do, because the history that we have with our past, that we don't wear ties and all kind of carrying on, because just what we've been through with our history of hanging. So trust me, when we go, we just gonna go and blow some stuff up. That's what we gonna tell you what we gonna do. I come blow that stuff up. I'm gonna come shoot this whole thing up. I'm finna go, like, we finna tell you when we finna go out. We don't be going to don't do nothing quietly. We need everybody to see, because we angry. I took care of these kids. No, everybody finna see what's going on. So stop that, first of all. No, we're not finna be killing us and just us only. No, we finna take somebody with us. So stop it. But that's what they're saying, and now this is the rhetoric that they're using, because we know, the things that we ain't gonna do, we ain't gonna do. But this is something that, especially since Black Lives Matter, and since these protests have been going on, has been something that has been coming rampant. But this is something that strikes me a little differently.
And did they start in Ferguson when with the Black Lives Matter guy from Ferguson when Mike Brown got killed, and they started turning up dead suspiciously? Didn't one of them get found hanged or something like that?
Absolutely, with their pants down and something to that nature. Absolutely. And if you give me some time, I believe in my heart I can dig and we can find some fire before that had happened. Keep in mind the history of where we come from. Emmett Till just looked at a white woman. That's what happened. He on the bed. So because these things have been coming up to the surface, I know we can find other Black people who were found hung, who were ruled a suicide because the coroner and the commissioner and all them is cousins, homeboys from school back in the day. And one of them been scared of them since high school anyway, and he gonna do whatever they say, and it's probably the coroner. It's the game. It's the same game we got out here when we decide to flip and sell these drugs. They're doing the same thing up in there. We have to realign our priorities, though. I'm just saying. But I think that the most crazy thing about this was that, yes, they said that it was a suicide, but his hands were tied, his teeth were missing, and his face was bruised. Now, whether that happened before or after that, it was poor treatment. Like what did we do? I was reading the story to where I can't remember which case it was because there's so many of them. But after initially what had happened, they killed the young man, but they like dragged him downstairs and let him sit and just wait and just all this other extra stuff after he's dead, to where you didn't even have respect for the body that you just killed. Like it's just unbelievable. And I think that as a society, what Rico said is right. We shouldn't look too far into it without the details. But let me tell you where there's a problem for me. Only being at 43 and feeling like I'm not going to be a zombie anymore. The doctor can go to school for 18 years And if he tell me it's cancer, that's all I can go on, because that's what he tell me. It don't mean I have to have it. And it works the same way with the coroner and the judge. If they all get together and say that you did the crime like they used to do, then that means you did the crime. You have judges that are still living today, prosecutors, witnesses that know that people were innocent. Just look at the five. That they know people were innocent. They know what happened 20 years ago. They know they didn't have all the proof. They just know in their heart of all hearts that it wasn't right. But they're not going to be willing to go back and say anything about it, because they're going to go to jail or whatever it may be. It just causes a lot. So me personally, I would never be able to be in a position of political power, because I'm coming for everybody, and you all would be going to jail. Because in the seats that you sit in, the coroner to rule something is suicide, knowing that their feet and teeth and faces bashed in, then the sheriff should be the next person to say, no, it can't be. I mean, that's what we're lacking here. And this is something that I don't think that we're ever, only because it's 60 years later.
See, it would make some people feel better to think it was a suicide. But I mean, you know, like you said, you ain't gonna find too many people of color that's fixing to sit there boo-hooing and crying while they twisting up and knotting a rope and throwing it over a tree all distraught, and then tie their hand behind their backs after they hang themselves and, you know, dangle. I mean, just think about how impossible that is. Yeah. You know, and like you said, this just started happening recently, where people wouldn't even consider it a suicide. But in the past, you knew without a doubt that it was somebody did something heinous. It wasn't no suicidal act. You know, started with way back in the early 80s or late 70s with Michael Donald down in Montgomery. You know, it's been going on, and then like you said, all of a sudden recently, like within the last decade, now all of a sudden we like to use that as a tactic to solve our problems or get over our depression or whatever it is. That just doesn't sound right for that to be an initial judgment on a call on the coroner. Right. You know, but they will do that. I mean, if it's the thing about having a position of power, you can put whatever spin you want to on it and then tell everybody else to prove you wrong. You know, with a coroner, with a sheriff, you know, if you think about what that sheriff in Michigan said about those guys that tried to plot to kidnap the governor, he's saying that maybe they tried to do a citizen's arrest. I mean, he's actually creating an excuse for them. So, I mean, that's pretty much a character of American society. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I've seen that, to me, I hate to get it on a race issue, but it seemed like white man started that, and now it's become the American way. Some people have embraced distracting you or deflecting or creating other reasons for other people to have excuses to get away with things when maybe they didn't even have that excuse. Right. You know, but that's the American way now. Everybody's adapted that American way. You know, to the winners go the spoil by any means necessary.
Right. So Joker, hey, who does not have his profile picture displayed, typed that Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. Of course, we know that, you know, there's one or two things. Either you're a hacker or, you know, you want to type something for a response. This is not the right time to response. Catch me on the streets, you might get them hands, but right now this is a show. So I can cool, calm, and collectively have a conversation about Kyle Rittenhouse and his innocence. So Joker, hey, you and probably the rest of white America have a huge mental problem, okay? If you feel that it's okay for you and the rest of you guys to go shoot anybody for any reason other than them purposely or specifically doing something to you, you have a mental problem. See, the part, and you don't understand that there's there's been this God in the background the whole time, whether you believe it or not. And he's tired too. And he said, hit y'all back. So if you feel like Cal is innocent, then you have every right to feel that way. Okay. What we're saying is, we don't care if you're innocent or not. Y'all not finna keep coming around here doing what y'all want to do, savagely, brutally. Consider yourself taking things in your own hands without us taking things back into ours. That's all we're saying. We tried it your way. We tried, being the slaves. That didn't work. We tried riding the back of the bus. That didn't work. We didn't try jumping through your hoops, chucking and jiving. That didn't work. Still not satisfied. Still not happy. You still want to murder and slaughter. So now we just gonna turn up on your ass and call it a day. Excuse me for cussing. But he's not innocent. He's not a hero. He ain't got to go to jail. Please know, if y'all keep it up, we not our ancestors. We are going to fight back. We're just not going to take it anymore. It's just not right. And if you have a mental problem and you don't understand that the barbaricness of your people is not only is it not right, but it's no longer going to be tolerated, then let's go. Let's go to the next topic. Anna, what's on your mind, sugar? He said he's a hero. So, what you got?
Now, Joker, Joker, Joker. All right. How is this man a hero and this man hit a young lady? Didn't he just get a few charges pressed right before that? Your hero is a woman beater. That to me is never a hero. It's the lowest scum of the scum. Come fight a man. And he was a coward to even do that because he had to pick up a weapon and kill innocent people who were strictly protesting the life of George Floyd being taken away. I think at the same time, around that time, we also had the incident with Breonna Taylor and somebody here from the state of Florida as well, who got also shot and killed for running. What was he running? Or he peeped into a house that they were just building or something or another. And I can't remember his name. That happened in South Georgia. So educate yourself, first of all, because one thing I've done is I was a firm believer against carrying any type of concealed weapon. But at this point, I am a Christian. But by God, let me tell you one thing. Our Father says, don't also be a fool. You know what I'm saying? So if you come at me, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. But if you come at me, you come at mine, be prepared. Because I am going to defend myself at any cost possible. To think that probably Joker calls themselves Christian. To think that I hear this foolery with these so-called Christians doing this stuff or this race war. Look, it's more minority than of a certain other culture. And I don't like making this about race because I love everybody the same. Okay, but I'm going to tell you something. If we all get together, it ain't going to look good. So it is in y'all's best interest just to sit back and what is it? Stand by, stand back, stand by. You know, I always get it all twisted, Toya. But just stand back, leave us alone. We'll leave you alone. Don't nobody want to mess with you. And that's that. That's all I got to say for now, Mama.
I mean, it is what it is. I can respect anybody's opinion. You know what I'm saying? You feel like he's a hero. I really put myself, and because I'm not privileged, I just try to use my imagination. Living a privileged life the way these white people live. Never be in trouble. Just look at the Willie Lynch letter, Jim Crow law. They don't talk to each other disrespectfully. You can do basically whatever you want to and not, really sustain no major consequences. Even when it came to murder, they were very lenient with each other back in the day as they walked around in their savage ways, on the place, things of that nature. And they could beat their wives. And the sheriff wouldn't say anything or do anything because that was just kind of a way of life when you privilege and you just run and roam and do everything. So I really try to put myself in, all right, a white privileged person, just be able to do what you want to do, just savage, just do whatever you want to do. And now Y'all feel like you want more. Y'all want more. Y'all don't work. Y'all just sit around and collect welfare, make babies. I'm just talking about all the things because I've dealt with white people. The things they say. The reason why it's hard for the black men to deal with you, Toya, is because black men got this thing with their mothers because their dad's not around. Like there's always this something that they're just trying to say about us. And when I think about that privilege and feeling like he's a hero, it's like you can't help but understand that that's a mental problem. That is a mental problem. There's no kind of way, shape, form, and fashion with a logical mind that the actions that young man took was a safe and good mental decision. That was not. To have officers say and tell him, I don't care what they're doing. First of all, they were not tearing up stuff. It was a peaceful protest. So because you're protesting, to have officers be mad because you're protesting something that they disagree with and say, well, you guys are vigilantes and we're going to push them closer to you. So, hoping or inciting that you do something physical, that is a mental issue. No, you're not a hero. No, you're not one of the good cops. Well, I didn't kill nobody. Well, you didn't have to kill nobody, but you turn a blind eye. And because you disagree with, I'm sorry, y'all, they typing on the side. Because you disagree with what they're standing up for, then you want to incite violence. But I thought you didn't agree with the violence that happened. So you're going to be cool with inciting it? How is that healthy mental choices? It's not. So now look, we got Paul of the Woods. He said self-defense. So let me ask you two guys before we move to our next topic, because the next topic we are going to talk about is we're going to take this topic and we're going to tie it into this kidnapping, because I got to talk about your superiority, because you got to run everything. You got to dismantle government. Now you're going to take it upon your own hands to do a citizen's arrest to the governor. But the young man, Paul of the Woods, said a self-defense. They feel like it's a hero. Now let's just, again, whatever twisted mind they got, how do you feel about people that feel like he's a hero and it was self-defense in the mix of, and Paul of the Woods, when you say self-defense, help me understand, okay, because the scenario was he was the first shooter. There was no act of violence or anything to incite his shooting. There were tales of someone who he knew there was not a good person. He went to the person and shot first. When they saw he shot first, they then went to go tag that behind. And that's what initially started off. That's when they, picked up the camera, started recording, because he was the initial first shooter. But neither here nor there. Can you guys, either one of you guys, see in any way, shape, form, or fashion that was self-defense, even after the person that he shot? Now, this was a rumor. The person that he initially went to go shoot was a child molester. Now, nothing has been proven. They haven't connected anything, but these were some of the stories circulating at the time. He went there. The guy was a child molester. I don't know if he had any attachment with him. He went to go shoot that guy there. That's when they jumped him. And that's when he initially shot back to other people.
You can't. It ain't no self-defense. I mean, well, no, I take that back. Anybody can make themselves a victim after you provoke somebody. I mean, so, that's, and a lot of privileged people do that. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen spoiled rich kids get all rude and say anything out their mouths and treat homeless people or poor people rough, and then all of a sudden when somebody put their hands on them, they play the victim?
Yeah.
All those Karens, They like to manipulate the situation, and then all of a sudden, when the script get flipped on them, they play victim. So I mean, that's pretty much the same mentality. I'm gonna say behavior. That's just a tactic that has always been used by colonial people, colonizers, especially colonizers. They've been the ones who just worse about going around and instigating stuff and starting trouble, and then all of a sudden want to justify their retaliation. You know, look at before 9/11, we did a lot of stuff before 9/11 that if it wasn't an inside job, you still can't blame other countries for having that much hatred toward America. Just think about the whole history of America, how wrong it is, but they justify it and call it patriotism. You know, in some parts of the world, and one day in this part of the world, we'll wake up and realize that patriotism ain't nothing but white male pride.
Yeah, yeah. So Joker Hay says, I have the facts wrong. Joker Hay, we got to find some kind of way. If you are willing to have a conversation with you, Joker Hay, I am. I'm about the dialogue. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have an email or you're interested in coming on screen, if I get you on screen, do that. Go to my Facebook. I'm Toya with the T. I'm gonna try to send you a link on here. See if I can get you involved. But if you are open to dialoguing with us on this right now, then I would be more than happy to have you. And if not, maybe you can drop the real facts, or where I can find the real facts, a copy of the real facts at. Drop the information where I can find it at, because this is what I do. First of all, I'm a woman, so you know I don't like being wrong. And then for two, I'm a strong Black woman. Daddy made sure I gotta be on top of my game. So that's so, you know. But in the event that you want to give me the facts, let me know where to get the facts. Let's go ahead and do this. And I think I should have been a lawyer. But come on, let's go. Let's do this thing. Let me know if you're interested. You're right, Rico. I don't see self-defense. However, can it be spun that way? Absolutely, it can, with a panel of privilege. You know, and what we ultimately need to understand. You know, every time I think about the comment somebody made, is how can you have 7 white people on a plantation with 250 Black people and you still have slavery? That boggles my mind. But I see where Kanye was like, oh, slavery is a choice. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. The animal with the chain on the neck, and it's so used to going to a certain way, and then once you take that chain off the neck after 7 to 10 years, the dog just ain't gonna go. It ain't gonna go past a certain point because it's just so used to just not going past that point. And that's just what I think about. And you know, I think that because Black people are not savage by nature, when they came to take us, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know to be savage back because we're not that by nature. Like, we had to learn how to be savage. They had to beat, slaughter, murder, burn, chop off, and do a whole lot to our people for us to even pick up the savageness. Even if they did sell us to them. Yeah, to cook and clean and to, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We work for each other. Everybody ain't leaders. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't want to be a boss. I want to be a boss, so I'm going to hire people. All right, let's just say that's what it is. And they did trade people. I still don't think it was traded with the intent to be beaten and brutally savaged and raped and burned. And then now here we are 400 years later. It's like, oh, y'all savages. And it's like, well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? We're not savage by nature. And I just think that, like, we didn't know what to do, be enslaved. Like, what is this murder? What is this you speak of? Like, this is not what you do to people or humans. But after so long, here we are. And I just cannot, under any circumstances, say that it would be right for any of my people to want to just go kill a whole bunch of white people because of what white people done. But I can only say that because white people did do that to us, and it's not right. Like, do I understand why they want to do it back? Yeah, I can understand why. But it ain't the right thing to do. So how you gonna say self-defense? How you gonna say self-defense? So if your kid at school with somebody else's kid, and your kid say, I'm gonna punch you in their face, and the other kid punch your kid first, you gonna get mad? Because your kid said it. The other kid just didn't give him a chance to get back. Like I don't understand. Like, what you mean self-defense? He should have had his ass in the house. What you mean self-defense? He's supposed to be at home in his own state. What you mean? So when somebody come from another state and crawl in your house and run off with your daughter, and she willingly go, don't you call no police. She wanted to go on her own because she was 17. Come on with the jokes, man. Stop. Go get you some Ritalin. Go get you two Brazil nuts or whatever, bro. But don't do that, man. That's the curse of your people right there, man. Stop, man. Don't do that, man. If you ain't ready about this business joking, hey, don't do that, man. That's not right, man. And you gonna curse your family and your grandchildren and your grandchildren's children. Y'all finna go through something because of what y'all did to our people. Y'all don't get that?
Hey, but you know, sometimes trolls, their victory is getting you to address them and give them your energy. And he really truly, it might be somebody black just sitting up there playing just to be disruptive and start trouble. Because you got some of us like that like to play practical jokes and sit back and just play the troll. You know, trolling is cool now, so it might not even be worth even addressing whoever Joker is.
You're right. You're right. And they ain't even got no picture up, but you are absolutely right. And they just want to get you off track. That's what we're going to go to next, because that privilege. It's amazing. You so privileged. You said you're going to go kidnap the governor. So listen. Rico, me, you, and Anna finna go kidnap Governor Kemp. Okay? Now we're going to take upon ourselves now to go kidnap the governor because we privileged. Because we don't agree with the Governor Kemp opening up the states early. We don't agree with him ending a moratorium. We don't agree with him sending us back and forth to work out here. Honey, we finna go kidnap the governor because we privileged.
It cost you a woman.
You think that's what it is, too?
That could have been part of it, too. I mean, she had so many different things that could have made her so liberal that they was, you know what I'm saying, so extremely conservative to want to do it to her.
So, now, wasn't this Michigan?
Yeah.
Wasn't this the same place where they went with their guns to the state capitol?
Same people, some of the same people.
Oh. Well, let's see. That's the next story we got on the timeline, y'all. So, the developing story, this is Whitmer. That's her name. Suspect in Whitmer plot was pardoned in Delaware last year. Ooh, look at that. So, now one thing I'm starting to notice. They have backgrounds that kind of lead up to it. You know, they always look at the background to see, you know, what were they doing in the background. And, you know, for Kyle, he wanted to be an officer. He wanted to be a cop. He threw his little finger thingy up there. I was looking at somebody else who somebody Drake did a album cover with that same little thing that's supposed to be some honey. Ain't nobody got no time for that. But they so privileged, y'all. So privileged.
Just think about the unity involved in that, though. The fact that they was able to get more than one person to go along with it, and then they went recruiting other people. I mean, you know, these people actually can start a little small civil war, and that's the problem. Well, I ain't gonna even say that's a problem, because now that you see that the NFAC was able to, you know, organize the way they were, you do have some kind of hope that we could have some kind of defense if anything did ever jump off, because all of these police officers are part of these militias, and they're ready to turn against the government that the sheriffs and all these police officers work for. They're ready to turn against them in a heartbeat. So it's good to know that, you know, there is a Black organization that's prepared to defend it, but you know, we still would be in a situation if it jumped off over here. We would be pretty much the same way the Palestinians are against Israel. Those people will unleash their jets and their tanks, and we'll have to resort to some other kind of stuff, you know.
Yes. Well, if y'all follow my lives, honey, I done already called this thing out and how it was going to go down, man. But I was on a podcast the other night on Blogspot, and they made a very valid point that this is a civil war. This reminds me of the story in the Bible where God confused the army and made them fight against each other. And that's what the white people are doing right now. They're fighting against each other. And a young man made a very valid point of that on Blogspot the other night. However, I thank the Lord for waking me up, because, you know, we can take it for a joke if we want to. It is what it is. And the Bible dictate everything that happened. He tell you every king that get in control, and then they lose their mind, and what's going to happen next, and what's coming up on a rebuild. It coincides with history on a rebuild every century, every decade. And from a civilization aspect, we know that we're about to crumble. We're right at around 250. It's about that time. All right. So with that being said, we know that the clown is in the building, and they're going to come up over here and try us. And we're going to have to send them right on back on home packing. Okay. And this is the part where it's going to be very key that we pay attention to everything that's going on, y'all. I think we really take for granted, you know, the distractions and what's going on, because no, they're killing us. And there is a defiance plan. And if we look at this next article, where 13 individuals got together and decided to kidnap their a governor, because they didn't agree with how she's doing things. This is how we know that it's about to get real. Let's see.
We're wearing masks. Ain't that something? They didn't like the mask on. You gonna kidnap the governor because she made it a mandate to wear a mask to protect human beings. You want to kidnap them? Ain't that something? Risk going to prison.
And you know, for them, they're saying it's about their rights. Now, listen, y'all know I do Uber. I Uber in Buckhead a lot. I Uber with a lot of Caucasians. And a lot of people that I Uber, you know, all of them are not Biden supporters. Some of them are Trump supporters. Some of them are, you know, pro-Trump. Some of them are Trump supporters who don't agree with what he has going on and are like, you know, dang, I did vote for him, but now no, because he's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of different people are changing, you know, for the narrative. But let's just talk about their And again, I hate to have to drape you people off because now we got to go to the mental side. Okay, these people got mental problems, and they feel that the American way, and it ties into what you said earlier. When you can take a human being and force them to do whatever you want to do, that privilege means you can't tell me what to do because I'm used to doing everything. And now that they're being told and forced to do something that is in their best interest, they don't know how to deal with that because they're used to being in control and being privileged and making the rules and be able to do what they want to do. You got to understand they used to be able to kill people, murder people, beat women, beat their wives, and their wives stay and do terrible things to their kids. And that was a way of life. So now for someone to be coming to tell you to do something, I imagine it's a huge problem for them. It's like the person that doesn't get the Ritalin. You know, this is the wages of sin part. It's done. The root of that wickedness is so deep down in them, it's going to be the very cause of their demise. Because your inability to not empathize with humanity, your privilege is going to be the very root of what destroys you and your very kingdom that you've built here on the backs of us. And we're going to wind up being on top on the rebuild, all because we decided to be humble first and foremost. But for two, because we just gonna sit back and the same thing that y'all destroyed when the Lord said that we're gonna be on land and cities that's not ours, we built them. Y'all gonna crumble them and we're gonna catch it on the rebuild because you still refuse to acknowledge the abuse and the privilege and the authority that you think is yours, that is not right. In the same way all other civilizations have crumbled, you are now watching the crumbling of the federal government. This is where we nationalize, y'all. This is where we now start to create our own sovereignty for our own selves, our own families, and start to rebuild because we already know what's getting ready to go down. So now, these individuals, they went to go kidnap a governor over mask. You don't think that they're thinking about other things to do? They know they're plotting and planning terroristic activities. But you know you want to downplay that too, Mr. President. Because you're scared too. Did y'all see his face when he said, stand back, stand by? These people are dangerous. He's scared. They're scared. Shaking in their boots. We're not even thinking about y'all. We want to smoke our weed, have our babies. If you just give us our food stamps, we ain't been bothering y'all. What you say? Y'all say all we want to do is make babies and have food stamps. Well, if that's what it takes to leave y'all alone, let us get our little food stamps. Let us smoke our little joints and have our babies and go on about our business because there is no need. There's no need for y'all to be waking up this sleeping giant that y'all about to wake up, man. That it's not right.
I don't think they're scared though. I don't think they're scared of us. I think they're scared of being exposed, and I think they're scared of using their losing their way of life. But I don't think they're scared of us. I think they use the excuse that they fear us to go buy up all the ammo and shoot people in the back and shoot people in the head. I mean, it's actually I looked at a update last night on the Ahmaud Arbery case. And they had the defense attorneys of the father and the son and of the guy that followed in the other car. And everybody trying to find a way to prove that they're innocent. They actually trying to find a way to prove that they needed to shoot. They had to shoot. And they done went back and pulled up all kind of messages where they've been using the N word left and right. And just because he used it don't mean he was racist that day. He saved a black man when he was in the Coast Guard, or he saved a black man when he was in Vietnam. You know, they talking about stuff that these people did when they was on work and the eyes were on them. But the facts that they bring up when the eyes aren't on them about using the N word, or saying F and N word after you kill Ahmaud Arbery. That's not a point. You know, they want you to believe all this other stuff and just dismiss the true nature of the person that's not seen with the average eye. But they got proof. So now here it is, they want to spin the narrative. Self-defense. We were afraid of Ahmaud Arbery. Even though you followed him for like 4 miles and you went and headed him off and did all these different things, all of a sudden now you were afraid of Ahmaud Arbery, so you had to shoot in self-defense to protect your dad. But wait a minute, y'all the ones had the guns out already. Y'all the ones that he tried to go around the truck and go all these other different ways, and you kept on, you kept antagonizing him, telling him to stop. Stop it right now, stop it. They played all the time, man. Y'all had to see it. If you ever get a chance, see if you could pull up 48 hours from last night. And they did the update, this most recent update I've seen on it, and they play actual recordings and videos and all kind of stuff from the scene that hadn't been released before. And these people attorneys still trying to actually prove that they had a right to do that. They had to defend themselves. Stand your ground pretty much is the latest and the greatest excuse that they've used to say, yo, we fear you, you savages. We fear you super predators. So we got to shoot y'all up,
Yeah. And of course, when we create things, we create rules and regulations and guidelines. When you get into a relationship, you create boundaries and guidelines. You know what I'm saying? And when they created United States, when they branded the United States of America, we keep trying to act like this is not a business. Everything is business. When they branded the states, they knew what they were doing to put in clauses and who they could work for, who they wouldn't work for. We do it all the time. For instance, Publix has a clause that when you buy something, if the price is wrong, when you get to the register, you get that item free. Did you know that?
It used to be, right? Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's something that's been around, but a lot of people probably don't take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the same way when they started to create their laws. Like, set these laws of guidelines and they put their little things that they can do and get away with it. And if you don't know about it, it's on you. And if you do, you get to take advantage of that. If you sleep on it, then you sleep on it. It doesn't take away the fact that it is what it is. And I think that, that's we got to be real, y'all. And this is what I want to say to my people. The same way is real on them streets. The same way in the White House. Same game, different product, man. The only thing changed is the pieces in the game. But when it comes to getting up and putting people in position, the game is the same, man. Whether you white or black or brown, we could try to make sure we could try to make it seem like it's not, but it is what it is, man. Check this out. Just got something on the feed that said white supremacists trying to invade your stream. Then it has a little link and it says, watch out for them. So that's what's on the side of my timeline. So I guess they trying to invade it, which, you know what? Somebody came here the other day talking about they was from the fireplace. And I said then they was the feds. It don't make me no difference. Invade me all you want to. Just don't run up on me. Just saying. But yeah, that's what they're saying. But no, it's getting real. When you start kidnapping
public officials.
Yeah.
So when you start trying to kidnap public officials, plotting to kidnap but like I said, we can't put nothing past these people. They killed John F. Kennedy. They killed presidents and leaders, and they use means of government to do it. So, yeah. It's on the citizen. If they choose to run around and not be cognizant of their history and know that they need to actually protect themselves against their government too.
Yeah. And that's where we are. You know what I'm saying? And I think I go deep. I'm going to be featuring a couple of stories about nanotechnology. I need y'all to check that out in the future. Nanotechnology is pretty deep. And then I'm also going to talk about another story where actively right now in Switzerland, they're chipping people. A lot of Sweden residents are chipped right now, and they have active chips in their hand that they just absolutely, love and do. And the government's involvement with a lot of this, and with Trump and with China, actively now assembling military, which again, if you watch my lives, I'll call this out, Russia, China, and Iran. And again, when you talk about the Bible, they said that there's going to be a huge army that was going to come across the water. And I believe the number was somewhere around that 200 million army. And when you look at that powerful force over there coming this way, it's just about timing. So it's you're absolutely right. We're gonna have to be very diligent. We know what our government is and what they're capable of. We know what they've stood by and allowed to happen. But now we need to be very cognizant on some truths that we probably never wanted to acknowledge. And I think nanotechnology is one of them. When you guys actually go take a gander at some nanotechnology, you'll probably get a little bit better understanding on probably what this fight is all about COVID, and why some people want to wear masks and why some people don't. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about this right here, because with us talking about kidnapping public officials, I think somebody's been watching too much White House Down, but I'm going to leave that alone. But there's been a shooting in Denver. So now they had some things going on in the Denver area. And in this Denver area, they have some protesters. And of course, whenever they have a protest with Black Lives Matter, where people just seemingly has to make it seem like we're just a terrorist organization. Even some Black people are against Black Lives Matter. But that's a whole nother show as well. But some people are just making it seem like, Black Lives Matter is just this terrorist organization, and they're just going around destroying American streets and just tearing down buildings, and just vigilantes just running through the streets and just hanging people and killing people and raping people and taking babies. Sound familiar? They ain't doing none of that. But that's what they're making it seem like. And now with this Black Lives Matter thing, you got some people who were in Denver, and they had a protest. And of course, you had Black Lives Matter, and I believe they had an Antifa, and then they had some, counter protesters. And in the midst of the counter protesters, there was a security guard that was part of a television station. And because someone sprayed mace on him, he pulled his gun out and shot someone else. So now, if I can go ahead and show this clip that went by too quickly, get out of here. That was the clip of the story. That I wanted to show you. And that's what it was. All right. So now, the security guard shot this guy because, of course, he pulled him with the mace. He didn't like that, and there was a problem for him. So he shot and killed the man. He shot the guy, of course, and the guy died later on that afternoon. The guard's name is Matthew Doloff. He had been hired as a private security officer by a local news station that was covering the dueling demonstrations on Saturday, which is, that's what you do. Like you you know it could possibly be some tension in the air, so you will want to call, security or um, officers are probably not the right ones to do right now because we kind of feel some kind of way about the officers, but definitely a security team on staff. And Matthew Doloff was that person, and he fatally shot someone on Saturday while the right wing and left wing protesters were there. All right. This was in Denver, Colorado, right around 3:37 p.m. south of Civic Center Park, near the Denver Art Museum. There was a right-wing patriot muster and a counter-protest soup rally. Now, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what a soup rally is, but I think that they were trying to do something nice here with a soup rally. And it was organized by a left wing group because when you try to do stuff that's you know destructive, you ain't gonna get far. So I guess they try to get some soup together. And while doing this, it started to get ready to start winding down, and the police kept the groups on the separate sides of the park, and it was divided by an amphitheater and some temporary fencing. Even if you go into Atlanta, you'll see they got some temporary fencing down right now. Well, the members of the right wing group filmed and heckled left wing activists from across the fence and through the gate. The groups did not engage, but in a large scale verbal and physical confrontation, Chelsea Jacobs, who was a member of the communists, said it was unclear what Mr. Doloff or what his surname was spelled or recorded was, but he had a court hearing for shooting the guy after he got sprayed with mace. Guys. So somebody from the opposing team sprayed mace and he shot him. What's your thoughts?
Unacceptable. I mean, it's just getting to the point where you're starting to see just people get bold. That's not the first situation where I've seen where somebody just started shooting for no reason. I mean, I look at it like this, and I mean, you gave the greatest example, right? When you're in school and you're bullying somebody, right? That person just gonna stay hid. You expect them to get up and defend themselves, correct? And it is in our culture, especially us minorities, Latinos and Blacks especially, we will defend ourselves because that's who we are. That's who our culture is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what makes us be that way. Maybe it's because our history, we've been through so much that it's like, I'm not going to have it. You know, you should know, Toya, you're from Brooklyn. You've been around many Puerto Ricans, and I'm sure you know what that's like. In the case of that story in particular, I mean, I'm listening to it. I had read it. I watched a quick video. What gives, I don't care if you're a police officer, you're a security guard, you got some type of training to know better and not just react. You're a police officer, the same thing. See, these are people that their jobs give you a little more authority, to say it this way. And when you do things like this, it's like, oh, what were you thinking? What is your reason for doing what you're doing? For doing what you're doing, because it's really a matter of you messing that up and not anybody else, such as with what you were just talking with the governor. I could never even fathom plotting to steal any governor, period. Do you know the trouble that first of all, I'm not going to jail because I'm that bad of a fanatic for nothing but Jesus and religions. Okay? That's it. I just can't even fathom what would make anybody do any of this crazy. It's almost like And I keep saying this to you, and I know I sound like a broken record. It's almost like our father is being taken away from everything in this nation. And what bothers me so much is that nobody's seeing this. It's almost like there's just a few of us that are truly seeing, okay, something's not right here. This is not normal. This should not be going on, period. You know? I sit here and I mean, I just listen to you and I'm just like, okay, so there was a protest going on. There's pepper spray being sprayed for whatever the reason, obviously. So then you got to shoot, what was that, 13, 11 people hurt or 11 people injured and one dead, correct? That was the news, or was it just one dead?
One dead.
Okay. So you're telling me that you just grab your gun and you couldn't even have it shot him on the leg. You couldn't have it shot him on the hand. You couldn't have done none of that. You just ready to kill, right? So what was your whole intention of being there then? You see what I'm saying? That was already in your mind. You already went in there with the intentions of, I'm going to hurt somebody. That's the world we live in. And you know what? Y'all better train yourselves. I have a few friends down my feed that will train you to protect yourself, how to be able to survive in these times, and how to shoot a gun. Because you know what? I have got to defend myself, and I've gotten to the point. And I was the first person against any of this. But can you imagine you going out to go march in Atlanta at a protest, or Rico, where he's from? I'm not sure if he announces where he's from. We all know where he's from, but you know, Rico, wherever he's from, marching, and then somebody want a pepper spray, and then he gets shot and killed over pepper spray? Really? So you're telling me you didn't go up there to Atlanta to go kill somebody? Because you could have shot him in the leg. He'd be nice and alive, injured but alive. You went in there with the intention of murder.
So let me ask this question. So I wonder if I got my license to carry and I'm not committing a crime and the police pepper spray me. I pull out my gun and shoot the police. What do you think is going to happen?
You going to jail for life.
Going to jail. You're going to jail. So, you know, I say a couple of things. I hate that someone had to lose their life, but some of this stuff, I'm glad that they're getting caught in their tracks. They're not getting away. There's no long drawn out sentences. There's no they out for a year, 2 years until they get caught and all that. A lot of these clowns is getting stopped dead smack in their tracks, being removed, going through whatever. And I think that's the only thing that I am glad of. That, you know, unlike 60 years ago, that these clowns can do stuff like this and walk away. And it be no pressure, no nothing. But the world is such on high alert right now. United States, the whole world got their eyes on us right now. Because you done ran around here acting like you just so perfect, America. Making sure everybody do their postal. You go touching stuff, dipping in business. You ain't got no business dipping in. You go to all the different countries acting like you just that third. And now they all watching you, waiting for us to mess up. And now you cannot. Now you gotta, what they said, live by the sword, die by the sword. Now you gotta operate by that constitutional value that you set up there that you know you wasn't gonna uphold in the first place. You just put that up there. Let me tell you something, Donald Trump, you so damn stupid. 25 years ago, you said how stupid Americans was gonna be, and you could shoot somebody on the street and kill them dead and then vote for you. You said all that, silly rabbit, 25 years ago. And now the roost has come home to roost. Now this is what we're doing now. That's where we at right now, Mr. President. And
He really showed us. He really showed us how sick society is.
Yeah, but
That's really what he was
we, and I'm just maybe I'm by myself. Let's just be honest. Did we or did we not already know how sick they were? It was just like he just brought it to the forefront.
It's
We
not just them. It's society all the way around. Society is sick all the way around.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like with the security guard, with what you were saying, you know, when you got people in positions of authority to where they can actually, I'm gonna say where they actually possess weapons of destruction, you got to make sure those people have some kind of integrity or compassion about themselves. You don't want them to be weak because you do want them to protect you, but at the same time, you don't want them to be so sensitive and weak to the point to where they shoot the meat as soon as they find some adversity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we are like tainted with aggression. We have been taught to embrace aggression. That's the reason why war is so prevalent now. You know, that's why if you hear somebody saying, "Oh, we're gonna go to a war with Iran," you hear a lot of white people say, "Blow them back to the Stone Age." What human wants to blow another human back to the Stone Age time technology? Who wants to send somebody back to the Stone Age?
Right.
I mean, even if it's just to be talking.
Right.
So I mean, you know, when in the dominant society is the one that has influenced all of society. So these things that we embrace still come from one dominant society that impose their mindset and their behaviors on everybody else. So now here it is, they in authority. You got them security guards, you got them being policemen, you got them being judges, you got them making all the decisions on somebody else's livelihood or existence, and they still don't have any integrity, or they're weak on the inside to the point to where they have to use that power and that privilege to hurt somebody based off of how their emotions are, their faulty beliefs, you know. So there are things to put in place to prevent that, but they don't want to prevent that. You know, I remember going on certain job interviews a long time ago, and they would ask you some questions the same way. They ask you the same question 3 or 4 different ways. Have you ever stolen anything before? Something like that. Now, who gonna tell you they don't stole something? But they want you to be honest. They'll tell you, be honest. Answer these questions honestly. But you ain't got no lie detector hooked up to you. Right. So now you got some people answer them honestly, and they're gonna say, well, you know, I stole something when I was 5 years old or something like that. Then you got some that's gonna say, no, I never stole anything in my life. And they gonna hire these people and give them a job. Okay, say you hire them and you give them a job. Are you gonna come back 6 months later or a year later and ask them these same questions again and see if they line up consistently with the first questions you asked? Now that's the way they should do with cops. That's the way they should do with security. That's the way they should do with doctors. That's the way they should do with judges. Number one, if you got this kind of position where you can impact somebody that much, you should be tested every 6 months to see if you are consistent with what put you in that position. That way you could be trusted to be equal and be fair. But they don't put those guidelines up to prevent people from abusing their privilege or their positions of power. And like I said, that goes back to somebody wanting to always have that advantage or upper hand and thinking it's all right.
You know, go ahead, Anna.
I like the idea of what Rico just said. And both of you guys have said, I've been listening here really closely. Y'all have been saying some good stuff. I mean, truthfully, stuff that I see logical. But I do like the idea of them maybe every so often having a mental evaluation, because it is so important that you don't just want to kill somebody because you have something against that race, because whatever you feel. I'm one of these firm believers that I believe if it's your hood and you grew up on that side of town, they should give you a job in your hood on that side of town, because you understand your hood in that side of town. And things like these police officers, killing people will not be as predominant um, um, as as um, as now. You know, I think that if we turn around, if we, you know, I don't too much hear of doctors, but he's right with like law enforcement and there's other jobs, security. I mean, where you're actually sitting here dealing with the public, you know, how dare you sit here and I say I recommend you start that from the top, from the commander in chief on down to the security guard, because he's the first one that there's something wrong with him, because that's not normal, the stuff he be talking about. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, it's almost like, to say it this way, it's almost like the love is all gone. Like it's almost like, and I don't know if you guys feel like this also, it's almost like the enemy just is taking over. It's just taking over this nation. And it's scary because there's only a few of us good ones left. There's nothing that you could say to justify these actions of somebody who just kills for no reason. Period. I'm not gonna, because Toya pepper sprays me, I'm not just gonna turn around and shoot to kill. I mean, to kill, your mind is not all there. You came there with those intentions. And then what makes me even more upset is that these people beat these cases in court. I'm like, how? Look what he said about Mr. What is it, Ahmaud Arbery? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Look what he said about him. They're still trying to find some loophole to say that there was cause. There was no cause for you killing this man cold-blooded while he was jogging. Period. Period. I have gone to empty houses and checked out the scene. I wasn't stealing nothing. Why? Why was he stealing? Because he was black? I mean, get out of here. It sounds so ignorant in my ears and in my mind. Like I can't even fathom what these idiots be thinking, because that's what they are, idiots. And these are people that want to cause hate. But again, I repeat, and I tell you guys, my brother and my sister in Christ, get trained, have weapons ready to protect yourself, because that's what it's about. You have to defend yourself. I'm not looking to kill nobody, but don't come in my space neither trying to hurt me or mine.
That's that. You know, there's a couple of things. One thing is that I have in society as an African American. One of the reasons why we run, one of the reasons why we don't trust the government, one of the reasons why we don't work well with them is because of the systematic racism that we've always experienced. We know we're going to jail because the judge and the coroner and the officer and the prosecutor and all that's a game that they use and they incite, they encourage. There's a whole lot behind that. But what we got to understand, and let's be real. When you're trained to kill, you can't have no emotions in killing. Come on with the jokes. They don't train killers to have emotions. Whether you a cop, whether you a military person, when they're training murderers, they don't train for emotion. They don't train for you to be, oh well, be sensitive to this person in your group, this person, that person. When they come to murdering someone, you can't have no feelings. So this is a huge system that we need to be able to understand first and foremost. That if you're going to train people to murder, this is the result of that period, because different people cope with it different ways. Second thing, is it a possession? Yes, because I was like that. I never murdered nobody, but I remember feeling, plotting, planning, putting myself in situations never having to. You understand what I'm saying? But I remember the feeling of being there. I remember the feeling of wanting to do it and ready to do some time behind it too. But again, I had to be deliberate to understand the deception because I thought it was just the way of life. I thought it was what I was supposed to do because you violated me. I thought that that's what I'm supposed to, how I'm supposed to react because I'm not supposed to let nobody hit me. You know what I'm saying? But in actuality, it's a deception for me to throw my life away. I'm too valuable to the world to be sitting behind bars for 25 years to life because of something that was a deception. So again, I can only empathize with the people from the streets to street life on, you know, why you got to stand up and do that. But again, to be a murderer, you can't have no feelings in it. When they, again, before all these people, we knew how cops was. We know cops beat up on us. We knew COs beat up on us. We all knew people who did that. We know the horror stories. We know COs let other people in to kill people, beat people up, slide them guns, slide them pitchforks, slide them this, that, and the third. We know this stuff going on. We've been noted. All been going on before Trump too. We all know this is what goes on. This is how people are. This is how people be. I know when people that when they became cops, they changed. They changed, man. They were never the same people again. And they just turned into terrible, aggressive, ruthless people. Why? Because that's normally what come when you got to be a murderer. And what you do is you get trained to murder. You get trained to kill. If not, you're not going to make it home. You're not going to make it home. Ain't nobody got no time to be playing with you when you suit up in a blue suit, honey, and everybody out to get you. And ain't nobody trying to look at you and figure out if you a good cop or a bad cop. They will murk you and take you up out of here. So it's a very, detrimental position to be a police officer in this day and age, but just with so many other riffraffs, because what's the guy named Chris Dorner? He was a good cop, and everybody around him was dirty. And he wound up suicide by cop. Ain't nobody got no time for that, man. But even justice like that is gonna be prevailed. So now how are people looking at him? Because they backed him up in the corner. The same thing they've been doing, they always done. Now, please tell me again why for the 44th year am I supposed to believe that America is supposed to turn over this leaf now at 44? Why am I supposed to believe that now? Oh, they're different. Oh, Donald Trump in there. Oh yeah, now they care about my vote. Oh, now they gonna give us money. Now they don't fix the police force. Now they gonna give us housing. Nah, it's 44. The 44 year, it's not up to them anymore. It's up to me now.
Chris Dorner is the result of waking up and realizing that you done been fed a whole bunch of crop. And it's almost like finding out you've been worshiping the devil the whole time you thought you were worshiping God. You know what I'm saying? And then you find out you've been deceived. But that's the way the system is built. Yep. They started misprogramming us from the very beginning with this dysfunctional behavior to be contradictory and hypocritical in elementary school. When they first taught us about the discovery of America, they made us dismiss the logic of Native Americans already being here. Yeah. Not to mention they left out a whole nother history of Columbus killing the Taino Indians before he got here and doing all that. Yeah. Even when he got here, they dismissed the fact of the logic of people already existing here, so he couldn't discover it. But based on the fact of American history, we're going to make these children learn this. We're going to indoctrinate these people with this. Then we're going to make them salute it and pledge to it, pray to it, praise it, and honor it. We're going to make them say that this was integrity and honor of liberty. We're going to make them uphold this action as something that was honorable. When really and truly it wasn't honorable.
But listen.
But when you really see what happened after so long, you like, man, you know what? These people got me sitting up here pledging to this flag and doing all this, and this stuff was a travesty. So I mean, you know, it's like they told us you got the privilege because you are white or because you are American to impose your will. If somebody make you mad or you want something somebody else got, if you just sensitive because of something they said to you. If they want to kill your daddy, you just go bomb them and lie and say they had weapons of mass destruction. And we'll break all the rules and break all these laws that we put in place to say that every man was equal, and at the same time make you honor and salute this way of life, this American way.
Right.
So they got us from the very beginning.
And you know, not only that, you made a very valid point, but let's think about how we prepare our kids for the lies, right? Because now our kids don't learn about Christopher Columbus until they get to school, which is a more commercialized, industrialized setting at the age of 6. But just think about how, for those of us that teach the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, different pagan beliefs and religions, without wanting to tell them the truth. Like, the actual historical story about Santa Claus is amazing. But that's not what we tell our kids. We tell our kids the fat white guy that comes down the chimney talking about hoes. And there's always 3 of them. So we don't teach our kids the real history. We teach our kids the lies, the Easter Bunny, you know, Michael Myers, you know, and we prepare them for the lies before we even get to school. And then once we get to school, we need to understand that when they went to school, that when they facilitated a school, they facilitated a school to be able to incarcerate people. That's why they have the bell setting. That's why they have periods. That's why they walk in the line. That's why, like, it's to it's the
Institutionalized.
Yeah, absolutely. To get them institutionalized in the first place. There's no way in the heck you can teach 30 kids well. You can't have 30 kids in your house. 11 to 12 or 13, okay. But you can't know one person teach 30 kids. You know somebody's going to fall from the wayside. And we need to understand these things because, you know, why is it that we know that our kids don't use what's in school, but we don't teach our kids outside of school? But it's, we're not going to use that out of school. But what are we teaching them?
Oh, well, one thing is, like I said from the very beginning, teach the kids that I ain't gonna say the discovery of America, but the creation of America, that wasn't right. It wasn't right. We are being taught this is American history and we should observe it. But who says it's not right? It wasn't right. Because when you really look at it on a humanitarian point of view, it wasn't right how America came to existence. How, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there wasn't nothing to write about that. It was people already here. You know what I'm saying? They already had a name for this place. They already had territory divided. And it was taken from them. It was, you know, they was manipulated out of their land. So now here it is in this institution that they call school. They are making you believe that with this history that they teach us is right, that it was fair, when it was completely unfair. Even in God's eyes, even if you look at it in a religious context, that was not right, what happened for this country to come into existence.
And Rigo, I want to say, thank you for taking the time to learn about the ancestry of the Taino Indian, who is the Caribbean Indian, who was killed off, you know, and, you know, they were also fooled at thinking, you know, religion and all this other stuff. I try to tell people, don't just fall into the foolery so quick. Don't be so quick to go into the religion. Don't be so quick. Keep your eyes and your focus on the Lord. Because the second you steer, you're done. You're done. You know what I mean? You are done. So with that being said, I just wanted to tell him I appreciate that, because not too many people take that time to learn that part of history, who was really big, and it seems to not be spoken about. It's just kind of breezed through school, and you're like, well, wait a minute, because you start asking questions. You're like, so, and truly through the history, what happened was the Taino Indian and the Africans fell in love, but then the Spaniards would come and rape them. That's where the when they had their families or whatever, and that's where the corruption comes along. However, they don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you, oh, they were raping the women. They just say, oh, they lost their war, they got killed off. Yeah, they wiped out the whole Puerto Rican race, the whole Taino race. They killed every single Indian. Then you wonder why Puerto Ricans don't put up with crap from nobody. It's in the DNA somewhere. It's in the DNA when we were taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So with that being said, and I think sadly, I like to watch how I say things. I think sadly, people are fed up. People are fed up. I mean, I actually have people, and I wish you and Rico were not right now in Facebook jail, but I actually have people on social media arguing out that Biden will not go to heaven because he's pro-choice. But the pee grabber will go to heaven because he doesn't pay his taxes and he grabs on pee and he's married. Y'all got to be kidding me. Y'all got to get it together, man.
So would we all be looking crazy if Trump is in heaven? I thought the only thing that you needed to do was accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
Amen.
So what if Trump did that? Then that mean he gonna be there too.
Mm-hmm. And Biden.
He's an idiot, right? Whether he's an idiot or not. Now, maybe if we pray for him, maybe that will help. Okay, and that's how we're gonna wrap this up. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell my story. Because only God, honey, and I get it now, there's an energy. God, there's an energy, I don't think that we understand that when God took a man from the dirt and put the dirt in it, we have dominion. These storms and tornadoes and all that, that's our filthy, nasty souls causing this stuff, man. We sit up here trying to act like we don't know it. Talk about climate change. No, it's because our souls and spirits are nasty and filthy. We get the spirit of lust and sex trafficking and human trafficking and drugging and just carrying on, honey. It's just a lot. And we don't understand that. The spirit of giving and receiving, man, creating covenants, something that Rico said earlier with these officers, and they doing whatever they want to. Well, we need to understand that there are covenants and, you have to set precedents. And when you're in a leadership position, it starts with you. And our sheriffs and chiefs and commissioners that are in these offices they don't have high integrity. And that's why their officers are getting away with it. But again, the spirit behind giving and receiving is something that God, he knows what he's doing. And I say that to say to all my Christian folk, because, I'm with it too. I'm with the fake Christians in a minute, but I'm still real enough to acknowledge and like what's real and what's not, man. Like, I'm not going to fool myself. I'm just going to own, I don't want to fool with you. I'm not going to own the fact that it's not a Christian move. But if I'm going to be a real Christian, I'm going to be 100. This has nothing to do with the humans that I talk to. This has to do with me and God.
What's up?
When it comes to being a Christian, we know the difference between right and wrong. And there's a spiritual power behind prayer, okay? The same way we didn't like our president, it's the same way a lot of things go wrong. I just told somebody today, I said, how you going to be a diehard Falcons, they just lose year after year. And you woo-hoo Falcons, but you just cannot seem to just have no kind of sympathy for the president. But anyway, we get to choose what we want to do, and I was in a relationship with someone for a very long time, and they were not a very good person. did not do what they were supposed to me. Did not hold it down, was not doing what they supposed to. But I heard the Lord whisper in my ear, Toya, now look here, girl. I need you to sit right there. I was like, who you want who to sit where? Lord? Now, look here, Lord. Now, look here, Lord. I love you, Lord. Let's tell you something. I love you, Lord, but what we not going to do? If I'm going to be with somebody, they got to do what for me, for them. I'm not finna just be good to nobody, Lord, and they're not good to me. He said, no, girl. You hear what I said, girl. Listen, you need to be good, okay? You need to do the best you can. I got you. Do the best you can. Whatever you're going to say, you go ahead and say it. But most importantly, this is what I need you to do, okay? You need to pray. Because y'all forget, I know they special, and I know they this, and I know they that. But you pray, you keep me first, and you're going to be all right. So, all right, I don't get it right. I'm not perfect, but I do believe and love the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like because of all the terrible things that I have done, he wiped that slate clean and restored me, renewed me, and I'm here. So whatever I got to do to show God that I got his back, I'm willing to do it. And with that being said, all right, Lord, you want me to be good to these people who crazy? Most of them don't even believe in you, but you want me to be good to them. But okay, I'll do that. And in doing that, I can say one thing I must say to my women of color. We are too hard on our black men. We don't give them a chance. We are too hard on our men. It's a dog eat dog world out there, man, and we take for granted what our men go through and what they gotta fight and what they gotta put up with, and then when they come home, they got a lot more they gotta deal with and they gotta fight, and then it's this topic like, oh, when we go with white women or Chinese women or Mexican women, oh, they're more loyal, it's because they probably just leave them the hell alone and shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't.
Oh, I get in trouble. I can't do that, girl. I'm Rican. We don't shut up.
Right.
What?
And,
You better be ready for attitude. You get with me?
Yeah, people of color. And what I'm starting to learn is that, if we be diligent and say what God wants us to say and we pray,
Amen.
I notice change. It's been a long time. It's been a hard time. You know what I'm saying? But I noticed change a little bit by little bit. And the energy that I used to use, cussing or getting mad or doing whatever, I take that energy and I pray now and I notice change. I don't even entertain foolishness. I just pray. And I think the most important part is the reason why I pray. It's not necessarily for the sanity of me, but just I don't want to have to act up in the world. So just to make the world a better place, it's just best that I behave myself and pray. And that's what I got to say about praying when it comes to the president. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to your kids, when it comes to your spouse, your niece, your nephew, mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, whatever, whoever, whatever the problem is, I think it's important that we understand the power of prayer. And that we need to pray. And that sometimes we be trying to do things in our own strength and it's not worth it. But if you find yourself in a situation to where something's not working, something's probably just not going right, no matter what you do, it ends in something the exact opposite of good, then I think you might need a God check. You sleeping on the Lord. You think you're doing it in your power. It ain't on his, man. It's always mass chaos and confusion. Nothing never goes right. That means that you're using your own righteousness, not God's.
Amen.
So look around, acknowledge people, and understand the fact that Donald Trump is a human being, man. If we're going to be a Christian, we got to do our part. We got to pray. If everybody hates him and nobody's praying for him out of sincere heart and a sincere Christian mind, how is he ever going to be able to get delivered. If we just focus on the stupid stuff that he's done, and we know that he was raised by devil, that he was raised in devilistic times, that okay devilish things with the KKK. So we don't sincerely, with a pure heart, pray for this man. That's not right. Prejudiceness and all that KKK superiority, that's not right. Y'all killed people, murdered people, slaughtered people, hung people. Like, that's not right. And he needs to be delivered from that. So my thing is this, you know what I'm saying? I ain't perfect. I cuss, do a lot of things that ain't perfect. But I wake up thanking God every day, and I go to sleep asking him for forgiveness at night. But what we not gonna do is, I can't let you be no fake Christian. Our job is to pray for him. Our job is to try to be understanding and sympathetic of every human being, regardless of what. Not let them run over us or hurt us or put us in a situation to get hurt. But we need to have common decency and respect for everyone, even if we don't agree with them and how they are. It is what it is. He's the president, honey. We need to be praying for that man overtime because he's an idiot. Triple dog time, and he's like surrounded by demons. Why would we not?
What do you call them? Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, come on with the jokes, man. Like, come on. Like, we cannot. And we got to have a good positive energy. It just is what it is. But there's just no need. And I know people are probably going to want to kill me. No need to be disrespecting people, acting all stupid just because you don't like the person. The same thing they do to us. Oh, well, because you're brown, they want to act stupid and be all violent and disrespectful and act all kooky and crazy just because of the color of our skin. Well, touche. We can't be like that with nobody else either. We don't want them to be like that with us under any circumstances. So we got to tighten up, man. But I might as well go ahead and get ready for this next 4 years, honey. But in the meantime, it is what it is. I hate to get to election season and say I told you so, honey, but it's about that time, y'all. It's 9:30, honey. We finna wrap this thing on up, honey. Let me thank my co-host, Miss Anna, Lunchtime with Anna, and Mr. Rico Jackson, who's already gone, honey. These 3 topics, man, that was the topics, the trending topics of last week, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, go on your closest browser, type in those titles, see more information about those stories we just talked about. Thank you for joining us. If you got questions, comments, concerns, feel free to hit me up at toyawit@gmail.com. Maybe you want your stuff to be promoted on our show, on our channel. We're going to be coming soon to XOD. Make sure you watch out for the ABE network. It's strictly for independence, man. You want to make some money, holla at your girl. We're going to be doing a Bible study soon. We're going to be having our own political show. We're going to be reaching out to a couple of people, seeing if they're going to be involved in that. And I'm still trying to get this down packed for that morning show. Working on the morning show.
I was just about to ask you about that. You read my mind.
Yep, I'm working on that. I'm thinking about putting the time. I don't know. I got to talk to you about that because you my sidekick, girl, and you be in school. But I don't know. I was thinking about 8 to 10, but I don't know. We got to talk about that. But I'm still working on the morning show. Tea time after dark. I'm gonna be working on that as well. So y'all stay tuned. But I recorded a couple of episodes, so I'll be ahead of the game. But yeah, we got some things coming, y'all. So I need y'all to stay tuned. The cooking show. And then we're going to be doing some exercise, man. Life after stroke. Listen, I'm a person, honey, where God healed me. He showed me himself, honey. And I just want to run and tell the world, honey. So I'm going to be telling all my secrets and whatever else the Lord be putting in my head to get you healed and whole, honey, because I'm about that life. So absolutely stay tuned because in the morning, I'm going to be getting up. We're going to be doing my regimens and our exercises and our cooking. And hopefully, honey, we can nurse you back to health, honey. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure you follow me. Toya with the T, Toya Witdageatea on all social media. If you want your stuff to be promo, you can go to goblackpromo@gmail.com. Send me your information and whatever it is you want promoted. I'll be more than happy to put it up on the website. And you can check it out on allblackeverythinglist.com. You can check out the reality show. The new show is going to be coming out soon. We're still working on taping. And if you or somebody you know would like to be featured on that show, holla at me. Maybe you want to interview, holla at me. And maybe you're an artist. We're looking for music. Holla at your girl. Maybe we can make something happen. In the meantime, between time, we love y'all. Make sure y'all watch us. Check us out. Wednesday, lunchtime with Anna. It coming soon. Toy with the T. Y'all just got to be able to keep up, but I'll make sure I post it. So thank you so much, y'all. Y'all have a good day. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Okay, so this is called Doja Cat. Hey, I don't know these new folks, but looks like look like it was a boy once upon a time, and now it ain't no more. But the name is called Doja Cat. And let's see if y'all know that song. I know they said Megan Thee Stallion was a boy. That's why her got her pinky toe shot off. 30 seconds, y'all. That's all y'all get, man. Thank you so much. That's Toya T in the building. I'm signing off, man. I love you, love you, love you so much. Make sure y'all stay tuned, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. Have a good night.